Anxiety doesn't always feel like fear. Sometimes it feels like your brain glitching, a glitch. You know you're safe. The door is locked. Nothing is happening. And yet, your body acts like the danger is already in the room. This isn't weakness. It isn't drama. It isn't a lack of positivity. It's your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. Detect threats, except the alarm is broken. It fires when it shouldn't. It protects you from dangers that don't exist. In this video, you'll learn 7 types of anxiety that behave like brain glitches. Moments when your brain is trying to save you, but starts lying about the danger. Your brain is lying to you about danger. And somewhere in this video, you'll probably feel something most people can never put into words. This describes exactly what happens to me. But before we list the types, you need to understand one thing. That changes everything. Most people think anxiety is just worrying too much. Racing thoughts, a mind that won't shut off. People think anxiety is just overthinking, but anxiety is often something much deeper. It's your brain entering survival mode in response to something that isn't a real threat. At the center of this is the amygdala, one of the brain regions involved in threat detection. Think of it as an internal alarm. Its job is to sense danger fast before you can even think clearly. The problem starts when that alarm becomes too sensitive. After stress, repeated insecurity, or years living on alert, the brain can start reacting as if any uncertainty were a threat. Your brain gets stuck in a permanent threat detection mode. It's as if your brain drew a danger map years ago and never updated it. Your brain drew a threat map years ago and never updated it. So the body goes on alert. Cortisol rises, the heart races, breathing gets shorter. The nervous system braces to fight or run. The problem isn't a lack of courage. The problem is that the brain's engine is trying to run, while an alarm goes off inside your head. And if you've ever wondered why depression and anxiety show up together so often, it's because they often run through the same overlapping circuits, the same broken wiring, but not in the sense that your brain is permanently broken. It's more that some systems, alert, sleep, mood, emotional regulation, can be overloaded at the same time. Serotonin, for example, is a chemical messenger involved in regulating mood, sleep, motivation, and emotional balance. But anxiety isn't simply a lack of serotonin. The truth is more complex. When several of these systems get overloaded at once, the mind can have a much harder time finding its way back to calm on its own. So when someone tells you to just relax or just calm down, understand one thing. Telling someone with anxiety to just relax is like telling someone inside a burning house to stop sweating. The sweat isn't the problem. The fire is. And they're not sweating because they're weak. They're sweating because the body is doing exactly what it should near a fire. Except the fire isn't real. Before the list, one quick but important thing. These 7 types aren't medical diagnoses. They're patterns. Different ways anxiety tends to show up in real life. If anything here is intense, frequent, or getting in the way of your life, that deserves real professional help. Now, the 7 types. Type 1. Threat detection anxiety. You're fine. Everything is calm and still. Something inside you insists something is wrong. You check the door. You check your phone. You feel a tightness in your chest for no reason. People call this being nervous or worrying too much. But that's not it. It's your brain seeing danger, where there's only uncertainty. People think it's worry, but it's your brain treating "I don't know" as "I'm in danger." The amygdala can't tell the difference between a real threat and the feeling of having no control. To it, the unknown is already the enemy. This isn't paranoia. It's a protection system that's a little too good at its job. Type 2. Social replay anxiety. The conversation ended hours ago. You're already home, but your mind keeps replaying every word you said. Why did I say that? Did I sound weird? Did she notice? People confuse this with shyness, but shyness happens before. This happens after. People think social anxiety is just being shy. But social anxiety is often your brain replaying every interaction like a performance review you never asked for. Every conversation becomes a mental interrogation, and your brain files away the verdict as if your survival depended on other people's approval. Because at some point in your story, maybe it did. If any of these descriptions has already felt a little too familiar, write in the comments which one came closest to your own experience. Not to get advice, just to put it into words. Sometimes, naming it is already a relief. Type 3, future collapse anxiety. A small doubt appears, and within seconds, your brain has already built the worst possible scenario. An unanswered email becomes, "I'm going to get fired." A headache becomes, "Something is seriously wrong with me." People call this overthinking. But here's the part most people miss. Your brain isn't thinking, it's predicting. Your brain starts rewriting reality, turning a tiny possibility into an inevitable catastrophe. Why? Because to a brain in survival mode, bracing for the worst feels safer than hoping. Anxiety doesn't believe in the best-case scenario. It thinks expecting disaster is what's going to keep you alive. Type 4. Body alarm anxiety. Your heart pounds. Your hands tingle. You feel like you're going to faint, or worse. And your brain reaches the only conclusion that makes sense. I'm dying. People think it's weakness or drama. But it's the opposite. And this where anxiety becomes more than fear. What's happening is a short circuit. Your body fires off physical sensations, and your brain reads those sensations as proof of a real threat. The fear creates the symptom. The symptom feeds the fear. And the cycle closes in on itself. This is one of the patterns where structured approaches, like cognitive behavioral therapy, can help many people. Because little by little, the brain can relearn that an intense physical sensation isn't necessarily danger. It's not a lack of willpower. It requires real treatment, therapy, and time. If this kind of explanation helps you see your own mind a little more clearly, this channel might be a good place for you to stay. Type 5. Decision paralysis anxiety. You stare at a simple task for hours. You stare at simple tasks for hours. Answering a message, choosing what to order, booking an appointment. And it's not laziness. It's that every small choice seems to carry an enormous weight, as if one tiny mistake could collapse your entire life. People say, just decide, just pick one. But to a brain on alert, every decision is a risk. And when everything feels risky, not choosing becomes the safest way to survive. The result is cruel. You freeze. And then you blame yourself for freezing. Type 6. Rejection-Scanning anxiety. Someone takes a while to reply, and you're already certain you did something wrong. A different tone in their voice, a short, "okay," a single look, and your brain starts hunting for proof that you're about to be abandoned. People think it's insecurity or neediness, but it's older than that. It's a brain that learned, at some point, that connection is unstable, and that the only way not to get hurt is to detect rejection before it happens. So it scans every interaction for signs of emotional danger. Your brain is lying to you, except now. It's lying about the people who love you. Type 7. Exhausted nervous system anxiety. And maybe this one is the most invisible of all. You don't look nervous, you look calm, functional. People even call you easygoing. But on the inside, every interaction feels like work. You wake up exhausted even after a full night of sleep. Your emotional patience is completely drained. It's not that the fear is high. It's that your nervous system spent so long in a heightened survival state that it forgot how to switch off. Your mind is just struggling to find the off switch. And here's the strangest part. This is why anxiety can look calm from the outside and feel unbearable on the inside. People only notice the fire when the smoke shows up. But by the time they finally realize you're struggling, you may have been surviving inside your own body for years. And there's one detail that ties all 7 types together, something almost no one mentions. The most painful symptom of anxiety is rarely the panic itself. The most painful symptom is often not the panic. It's not trusting your own mind. It's what comes after, the doubt, the moment you stop trusting your own head. When you can no longer tell the difference between a real instinct and a false alarm. When the instrument that's supposed to guide you, your mind, becomes the source of your fear. Think of anxiety as someone who turned the brightness of the world all the way up. Someone turned the brightness of the world all the way up until everything feels too sharp. Sounds are too loud, lights too strong, other people's emotions too intense. It's not that you're sensitive by choice. It's that your system lost control of the volume knob. And this is why advice like, just think positive, doesn't work. It's not a lack of positive thinking. You're not anxious because you don't think about good things enough. You are anxious because the brain's engine is struggling to run under constant threat. Your brain struggles to function when the alarm never stops ringing. And no positive thought turns off an alarm that went off too early. But, and this matters more than anything I've said so far, an overactive alarm system can learn little by little to respond differently, to be recalibrated, not with willpower, not with positivity, but with real treatment, with cognitive behavioral therapy, with support, with time. It requires real treatment, therapy, and time. Anxiety, that's intense, persistent, that doesn't pass and gets in the way of your life, isn't something you have to beat alone in the dark. It's something that deserves to be taken seriously, with help from people trained to help. So, before you close this video, I need to tell you something. If you live with anxiety, maybe the problem was never that you were weak, dramatic, or incapable of handling life. Maybe your brain simply learned to protect you too well, so well, that now it sees danger even when you're just trying to live. Your mind isn't broken in some moral way. It's overloaded. It's tired of defending you from enemies that aren't there anymore. And that doesn't make you defective. It makes you someone whose system learned, for some reason, to live on alert. Maybe because of things you went through. Maybe because of years of stress. Maybe because of patterns that started so early, you don't even remember when they began. There's an explanation, and there's a path. So I want to end with a question, and I want you to answer it honestly in the comments. Which type of anxiety from this video sounded the most familiar to your own experience? Or to someone you know? Because maybe, by naming it out loud, you're doing the one thing your mind could never do on its own. Look at the alarm and finally say, I hear you, but this time there's no fire.